going on, YouTube? Just wanted to make a video. Had a topic I wanted to talk about a little bit. So, I've been doing flatbed for about 4 months now. And is it flatbed or dry van? Personally, I'll never go back to 100% dry van. To me now, the company I'm with, we do pull dry vans. Sometimes they have their own dry vans. I've pulled it like 3 or 4 times. They, to me, pulling dry van now is just boring. You know, hook up to a trailer, back up to a dock, swing your doors. It's the most exercise you're gonna get, unless you stop for fuel or whatever. You know, but flatbed, every load's different. Every load gets tarped differently. Every load gets strapped differently, secured differently. You get to see some pretty awesome places, and you get to see those things too in dry van. But I definitely see a lot more cool places pulling flatbed and loading some different freight on the trailer than dry van. It's 2 different parts of the industry. The drivers, for one, in flatbed are a hell of a lot nicer, hell of a lot more helpful. And I guess you could say that quote-unquote brotherhood of trucking is there. You have your assholes still, then, just like anywhere. But most people are willing to help you, talk to you. We don't even have to be from the same company. If there's a driver from TMC there, or I'm there, or whatever, we'll help each other untarp and roll up our straps and help each other just to get in and out faster. But when it comes to dry van, let's say you're having a difficult time backing into a dock. Now, everyone's gonna have an off day, no matter how good you are backing. Some days you're just gonna be off. You can hit the tightest spot in the world and be super stoked, and then go to the truck stop 5 miles down the road, and there could be 10 spots and you can't hit one of them. Just how it is. For the most part in dry van, if you're having a hard time, there's nobody getting out of the truck to help you. They're gonna hit that record button on their phone. They're gonna try to put you on YouTube or Twisted Truckers or whatever. They're gonna see what you hit and mess up. Now, regardless if anyone's helping you, obviously, you should get out and look. But just the people willing to help in flatbed and talk to you, and not a lot of drivers in dry van talk to you, let alone make eye contact with you. I mean, so there's that aspect of it. It's just a totally different part of the industry. And with dry van, I can't speak for reefer. I've only pulled reefer a couple of times when I was with Swift, when I helped out on a couple Walmart dedicated accounts, so I don't really have any reefer experience. But with dry van, when I first started, for me personally, I don't know if I could have pulled flatbed, because that would have been a lot to learn. How to drive the truck, maintain your lane, watch your speed, following distance. I mean, brand new driver. But then you also got to learn to tarp, secure your loads. I mean, there's just a lot to it. That's just for me personally. I don't know if I could have done it starting out. Plus, it's you securing the load to the trailer. You have to trust yourself a lot. Because if it's not secured properly, depending on what you haul, if it comes undone and slides forward, you're the first one to die. So, or get severely injured, or you could kill somebody else. So that's the reason why it took me a while, because flatbed always interested me. I watched a lot of flatbed videos, especially before I came over. I watched a lot of YouTube videos on flatbed. Flatbed. I'll put a link in the description of the guy's channel. He works at Maverick. I can't think of his name right now. But I watched a lot of his videos. They were really helpful, and I liked them a lot. So I watched a lot of his videos. I watched Woody the Trucker when he was doing flatbed videos. I watched a couple of Sean Parks videos, but the one I'm gonna put in the comment in the description, I watched him a lot, and he really showed a lot and helped out a lot. I had to step inside because it was getting a little loud outside and the lighting wasn't very good. But if you're thinking about going flatbed, I would definitely do your research, find out what the company offers as far as training drivers that are experienced, but they don't have flatbed experience itself. That should be with any company you go to, whether you're new or experienced. Now, flatbed is fun. There's a lot to it. You get a lot of activity, you get outside a lot, you get to feel the sun, or like my last load, I had a tarp in the rain. So it's definitely its pros and cons. Now I could have waited and hoped that the rain would have stopped and then tarped. That's just wasting my clock. And if you're not rolling, you're not making money, right? It took me like an hour. I have clothes in the truck, so when I got done tarping it, changed all my clothes and cleaned my shoes off and went on my way. From flatbed to from dry van to flatbed, it is. I knew it was gonna be different. I just didn't realize. Like, obviously it's different. All right, obviously it's different, but I didn't realize how much work actually goes into flatbed. I had an idea what I thought was gonna go into it, but definitely a lot more work than I had imagined. I'm getting quicker, you know. I can untarp a load, have everything ready to go in like 20 minutes now. When I first started, it was like an hour. It was horrible. Putting a load together just depends on what you're doing. You know, normally it takes me about an hour to put a load together. You know, some guys can do it quicker, and that's cool. But I try not to race when I put my load together. I try to take my time and make sure I don't miss any steps. Make sure everything's secured properly, everything's done correctly, and then when I get in the seat, you know, I have that peace of mind. Now I do move quick. You know, don't get me wrong. I try to move as quick as I can while I'm tarping the load, so I don't have to rush while I'm driving. But I definitely double check everything before I take off, and you know, I'm going bald. Make a mental note of you know, just as you're going along, just double checking everything, making sure all the straps are good. And if I'm live loading, normally I'll strap it, you know, strap it down, tarp it, and after I'm done tarping, I'll go back through again and make sure the straps are tight again before I take off. And then I'll drive a little ways down the road, pull over, and make sure they're still tight. Just, you know, and normally they are, they're still good. Some loads you haul, you can't crank it down that tight, you know, and but after the first, like, I don't know, hour or two of driving, pulling over and checking it, generally you're pretty good. So I'll drive, shut down in the morning, you know, while I'm doing my pre-trip. I'll go back through, make sure everything's still tight and good to go. But dry van, I mean, to put it simple and just forward, dry van's easy. Dry van is super easy. And I mean, I remember mornings getting up. Now, typically you're gonna drive more miles in a dry van. Not a lot more, but you know, while I'm sitting here doing, on a typical day, doing regional, doing 450, you know, a day, dry van, you're probably doing closer to 600 a day. So driving is exhausting. But I remember mornings getting up doing dry van and not even wanting to do my pre-trip, not even, just, you know, just tired. Now doing flatbed, every morning you get up, you're gonna do your pre-trip, but you're also gonna check your load. I mean, it's gotta be done. So looking back at it now, man, just getting up and having to do a pre-trip was super simple and easy. But you know, I would never go back to dry van, pulling dry van. Like I said, I pull it here sometimes, but I would never go back and work for a strictly dry van company. I enjoy the exercise. I enjoy losing weight. I enjoy getting in better shape. Dry van, unless you force yourself, and there was a few times I'd go out for a jog or a walk or change my eating habits, try not to drink so much soda, and which I've cut down a lot doing this because water is key. Sorry, but for the most part, man, dry van, you don't get any exercise. Because after you're done your 600 miles for the day, mentally, you're just exhausted. And me personally, it's really, you know, when I'm not tired mentally, it's hard to push myself to get out of the truck and walk around and, you know, do a light jog or do some sit-ups or whatever. And I know there's guys that I know that pull a dry van and they do that. They push themselves to do that. I just couldn't do it. Especially while training. Training is so mentally exhausting. Like, taking your typical day doing 600 miles and then, you know, times that by 10, you know, or 20. I mean, that's just how mentally exhausting training was. And I mean, it still is for those that are training. You know, especially training at Swift where they did team driving training. That was, I'm very happy I got out of training there. That's just super unhealthy for anybody, and I hope one day they change their training program. You know, here at Cypress they do train, but it's all solo driving, meaning the trainer might drive for like 20-30 minutes and then the rest of the time the student's driving, you know, or maybe the trainer drives for an hour or whatever, but no one's ever sleeping while the truck is rolling, you know. The trainer's definitely never sleeping while the trainee or the student is driving. The trainer's always in the passenger seat, and once the trainer's clocks up, it's up, you know. But they pay their trainers accordingly, you know. They pay them a lot better than Swift paid, and I had no intentions on training here. Kind of done with training for a while, if not indefinitely, because training is, I enjoy it. I enjoy teaching people and showing drivers, you know, trying to help them have a better first year than I had, because my trainer was horrible. The problem is, when I first started training, it seemed like the students or the trainees were definitely more acceptable to learning, being taught, understanding. And my last time at Swift, you know, when I was training, it's like very few students that I had could be taught, trained. Most, I mean, I want to say most, but I had a few that couldn't speak English. You know, they barely had any experience driving a car on the road, which isn't a huge deal because they have no bad habits formed. But, you know, it's like they knew it all. Oh, I watched YouTube videos, I know it all. Or my dad and uncle back in 1960, whatever, drove log trucks. Or, you know, it seemed like the people coming into the industry now, especially with automatic trucks, you know, they just don't want to be taught or learn. They just want it, like, they got their CDL, now they think they can just go on their own and just, you know, go. And it's not the case. But anyways, I kind of went off topic there. The things about flatbed that I enjoy: the exercise, being in the sun. The drivers are definitely a lot nicer and a lot more helpful. You know, just I like puzzles, and every load is a puzzle, right? Every tarp job is a puzzle. You know, strapping it and chaining it is, I mean, you have a set of rules to go by on that, so that's gonna be generally the, you know, similar. You might have to put straps or chains in different areas, but as far as tarping, it's all different. It's a puzzle every day, you know. Not every tarp job's the same, and that's why I enjoy it. It makes me think, makes me problem solve, critical think, you know, what have you. But to me now, dry vans is too easy. It's just, when I pull the dry vans, I get bored now, you know. You get out, do your pre-trip, and that's probably the only time of the day, other than getting fuel and dropping your trailer, that you're going to be outside. So that's just my take on it. I know this video kind of went off on a rant, and I just wanted to make a quick video. I haven't made a video in a few weeks, and I say quick, but it's probably like 25 minutes long. But I'll make some more videos, and I'm trying to get better at it. I'm just so busy and physically and mentally tired at the end of the day. So I appreciate you guys for watching it. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I would appreciate it. Have a good one.